Admiral, Chen's voice held amusement. The Concordat is requesting permission to demonstrate their advanced propulsion technology tomorrow. Apparently, they want to show us proper space-time manipulation. Sarah laughed softly. By all means, let them demonstrate. It should be entertaining to watch them perform tricks we mastered decades ago. Above Earth, Vexna's sensors continued their subtle probing, picking up fragments of impossible readings that vanished like ghosts. She was beginning to understand that humans had mastered another technology, one perhaps more powerful than any quantum drive or energy weapon: the art of deception. The question was, what were they hiding, and why? The Concordat's demonstration of advanced propulsion technology was proceeding exactly as humanity had anticipated. Their flagship, the Crystal Mandate, performed a series of impressive space-time manipulations above Earth's atmosphere, carefully monitored by what they thought were primitive human sensors. Magnificent, isn't it? High Emissary Zextal's voice carried carefully measured pride. Your species will achieve such capabilities, in time, with proper guidance. Admiral Hayes maintained her expression of rehearsed awe. It's beyond anything we've imagined possible. The lie came easily, even as her neural interface tracked the quantum wake signatures of humanity's true fleet, still hidden in dimensional pocket space, each vessel capable of maneuvers that would make the Concordat's display look primitive by comparison. But something had changed. Junior Science Officer Vexna was no longer watching the demonstration. Instead, her crystalline sensors were focused on a seemingly empty region of space near Luna Base. Sarah had noticed the young alien's growing suspicion over the past weeks. It was time to implement the next phase. Perhaps, Sarah suggested carefully, we could attempt a small demonstration of our own. Something basic, of course. Zextal's crystalline form flickered with amusement. Of course. Please proceed. Sarah sent a coded quantum pulse. Moments later, an experimental human vessel emerged from Earth's atmosphere. It was deliberately designed to look cobbled together, its hull a patchwork of visible welds and obvious reinforcements. The Phoenix, Sarah announced. Our first attempt at advanced propulsion technology. The ship began a series of maneuvers that would appear impressive to a Level 2 civilization, but laughably basic to the Concordat. However, hidden within these movements were subtle quantum signatures, just enough to trigger Vexna's increasingly sensitive scans. The young alien's crystalline form vibrated with excitement. High Emissary, I'm detecting anomalous readings from the human vessel. The power signature doesn't match their stated technological level. Interference from our own drives, clearly, Zextal dismissed. But Sarah noticed his secondary eyes focusing more intently on their ship. The game was becoming more complex. The Concordat's hidden fleet had begun moving into a containment formation, standard procedure when dealing with potentially unstable developing civilizations. They thought their movements were subtle. They weren't. Admiral. Commander Chen's voice came through Sarah's neural link. The Concordat flagship is scanning us with their primary quantum array. They're trying to penetrate our masking fields. Let them get a glimpse, Sarah ordered. Just enough to raise questions, not enough to confirm suspicions. For a fraction of a second, their masking field fluctuated, a seemingly random malfunction that allowed the Concordat sensors to detect a brief energy spike that should have been impossible for Earth's level of technology. Vexna's sensors immediately locked onto the anomaly. High Emissary, did you see that? The energy signature was consistent with Level 7 technology. Impossible. Zextal snapped, but Sarah noticed his crystalline form had lost some of its luminescence. Their fusion drives barely manage stable containment. Yet their orbital stations never lose power, Vexna pressed. Their communications never show the quantum degradation we'd expect from primitive systems. And now this. The demonstration continued, but the atmosphere had shifted. Sarah could sense the tension in the Concordat observers. They were beginning to question their assumptions, exactly as planned. Later, in Unity Station's quantum-shielded command center, Sarah reviewed the day's events with her staff. They've increased surveillance by 300%, Chen reported. Their fleet is now positioned to neutralize any perceived threat from Earth. As she headed to the shuttle bay, Sarah couldn't help but smile. The Galactic Concordat was about to learn a valuable lesson about appearances and about underestimating humanity. The Concordat's diplomatic shuttle was a masterpiece of obvious technological superiority. Its crystalline hull pulsed with exotic energies, and its very presence seemed to distort local space-time, all deliberately visible to human sensors. Admiral Hayes noted with amusement. Quite the entrance, Commander Chen whispered as they waited in the primitive docking bay of Unity Station. They'd really want to impress us. Maintain protocol, Sarah reminded her. Their own technological marvels were hidden beneath carefully crafted veneers of simplicity. The quantum computers that ran the station masked themselves as basic fusion reactors. The synthetic bodies of the greeting committee appeared purely organic to any scan. The shuttle's doors dissolved in a shower of light, revealing 3 alien figures. The lead diplomat, who introduced himself as High Emissary Zextal, stood nearly 3 meters tall. His crystalline exoskeleton sparkled with embedded technology that practically screamed advanced civilization. "We welcome you to Earth," Sarah said, performing a slight bow. "We're honored that the Galactic Concordat has chosen to make contact with our humble species." Zextal's translator crystal pulsed as he responded. "We have watched your development with great interest. Your species shows remarkable potential, despite your technological limitations." Sarah caught Commander Chen suppressing a smile. The primitive environmental suits they wore were actually quantum phase armor capable of surviving a supernova, disguised to look like basic pressure suits. "Please, allow us to show you our facilities," Sarah offered, "though they may seem basic compared to your advanced technology." The tour was a masterpiece of misdirection. They showed the aliens carefully prepared labs where scientists appeared to struggle with basic antimatter containment. They demonstrated experimental faster-than-light drives that the Concordat had mastered centuries ago, all while humanity's true achievements remained hidden behind quantum veils. "Your progress with fusion technology is admirable," Zextal commented, examining a deliberately inefficient reactor. "Though your containment methods are rather primitive." "We're still learning," Sarah replied humbly, while the zero-point energy tap that actually powered the station hummed invisibly in its pocket dimension. The deception nearly faltered when they reached the medical bay. A young technician had forgotten to fully mask his neural interface, and Sarah saw Zextal's secondary eyes narrow at the brief quantum fluctuation. "An interesting energy signature," the alien diplomat noted. "Perhaps from your communication devices. Just interference from our medical scanners." Commander Chen smoothly interjected. "Our shielding technology still needs improvement." Later, in the station's carefully prepared conference room, Zextal presented the Concordat's offer. "We would be pleased to guide your species' development. With our help, you could advance centuries within decades." Sarah noted the subtle scanning beams the aliens were using, probing for reactions. The quantum masks held firm, showing them exactly what they expected to see: the biological responses of an eager primitive species being offered technological salvation. "That's very generous," Sarah responded, letting just the right amount of awe and gratitude show in her voice. "Though some of our people may be concerned about becoming dependent on advanced alien technology." "A natural concern," Zextal assured her, "but unnecessary. The Concordat has guided many young species to the stars. We understand the importance of measured technological progress." As the meeting concluded, Sarah received a quantum-encrypted message through her masked neural link. The Concordat's hidden fleet had been detected moving into position throughout the solar system. Exactly as predicted. "Thank you for this opportunity," Sarah told Zextal as they prepared to depart. "Humanity looks forward to learning from the Concordat's wisdom." The alien diplomat's crystalline form sparkled with satisfaction. "We foresee a long and productive relationship between our peoples." After the shuttle departed, Commander Chen approached Sarah. They're deploying surveillance platforms in high orbit, disguised as navigational beacons. Right on schedule. Sarah nodded. Make sure they get plenty of data showing our primitive defense capabilities. Let's give them exactly what they expect to see. And if they decide to push harder, try to accelerate our development in ways that benefit them. Sarah's smile held secrets old as humanity's first dreams of the stars. Then they'll learn why we chose to hide our true nature. Sometimes the best defense isn't a show of force. It's making sure no one knows what you're truly capable of until it's too late. Above them, hidden in folded space, humanity's real fleet continued its silent watch, ready for any possibility. The game had only begun. Junior Science Officer Vexna stood before the Concordat's analysis chamber, her crystalline form dimmed with confusion. Something about the humans' technology wasn't adding up, and she couldn't shake the feeling they were missing something crucial. These energy readings make no sense, she explained to High Emissary Zextal. Their fusion reactors show significant power fluctuations, yet their orbital stations maintain perfect stability. It's as if. As if what, junior officer? Zextal's tone held warning. The Concordat had already determined humanity's technological level. Questioning that assessment was dangerous territory. As if we're only seeing what they want us to see, she finished quietly. The analysis chamber hummed as it processed more data from their surveillance network. 3 weeks had passed since first contact, and the Concordat's hidden probes had mapped every visible human installation in the solar system. Observed their primitive defenses. Zextal gestured to a holographic display showing Earth's orbital platforms. Basic kinetic weapons, rudimentary energy shields, exactly what we'd expect from a Level 2 civilization. But Vexna had noticed something else. During routine scans, she detected quantum fluctuations that shouldn't exist in a Level 2 civilization's technology. They were subtle, almost undetectable, and whenever she tried to focus sensors on them, they vanished. Permission to conduct a deep spectrum analysis of their main orbital station, she requested. Zextal's crystalline form flickered with annoyance. Granted, but make it quick. The Integration Council meets tomorrow to determine humanity's development schedule. Vexna initialized the scan, pushing their sensors to their limits. At first, everything appeared normal. Then she saw it. For a fraction of a second, the station's power signature showed something impossible. High Emissary, look at this temporal echo. Their station exists in multiple quantum states simultaneously. That's well beyond Level 2 technology. That's beyond even our. Enough. Zextal interrupted. Your instruments are clearly malfunctioning. Humans are barely managing stable fusion reactions. The evidence is right in front of us. But was it? Vexna began reviewing historical scan data. The humans' technological progression followed too perfect a curve, their failures and successes too neatly documented. It was almost as if, High Emissary, the communication crystal chimed. The humans are requesting a technology exchange meeting. They wish to learn about our basic FTL systems. Zextal's form brightened with satisfaction. You see, junior officer, would an advanced civilization need such basic instruction? Vexna wasn't convinced. During her research, she discovered something in humanity's historical records, references to something called poker, and the concept of a bluff. Meanwhile, aboard Unity Station, Admiral Hayes reviewed Vexna's scan attempts through quantum-masked sensors. The young one is persistent, Commander Chen noted. She almost detected the phase variance in our containment fields. Sarah nodded. She's sharper than her superiors. Mark her for careful observation. We may need to adjust our masking protocols. The Concordat's Integration Council meets tomorrow, Chen reminded her. Intelligence suggests they'll try to establish a development program for Earth. Perfect. Sarah's smile was predatory. Let them think they're guiding our advancement. Each lesson they teach us will reveal more about their own capabilities. A quantum alert flashed through their neural networks. The Concordat's hidden fleet was moving again. taking up strategic positions throughout the solar system. They were clearly preparing for something. They're planning a demonstration, Chen analyzed. Probably a show of force disguised as a training exercise. Typical Level 6 civilization intimidation tactics. How thoughtful of them to reveal their combat formations, Sarah mused. Maintain our current masking protocols. Let them think their fleet movements are undetected. Deep in the station's quantum core, humanity's true defense systems continued their silent watch. Every scan from the Concordat ships was analyzed, every movement tracked. The aliens thought they were dealing with technological children, but humanity had learned long ago that appearing weak when you were strong was the greatest strategic advantage. Admiral Sarah Hayes stood at the quantum observation deck of Titan Base, her weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays showing the approaching alien fleet. After decades of preparation, humanity's greatest test had arrived. Confirmation on alien vessel classifications. Admiral Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the neural interface. 17 ships, matching no known configurations in our database. Energy signatures suggest technological capabilities far beyond what we've publicly demonstrated. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Of course they would be. That was exactly what humanity had planned for. Ever since the discovery of the Proxima signal 30 years ago, Earth had undertaken its greatest deception, appearing to be a relatively primitive civilization, while secretly advancing far beyond what any outside observer might suspect. Begin Protocol Omega, Sarah commanded. Activate our primitive defense grid. Make sure they see exactly what we want them to see. Across the solar system, carefully positioned satellites and defensive platforms powered up, all of them deliberately designed to appear decades behind humanity's actual capabilities. The real defense systems remained hidden, protected by quantum camouflage fields that had taken years to perfect. The alien fleet's approach was cautious but confident. Their formation spoke of military precision and technological superiority. They probably expected to find a young species still struggling with basic fusion drives and chemical rockets. They're broadcasting, Admiral Rodriguez announced. All frequencies, multiple languages derived from our public communications. The message materialized in the air between them. Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Galactic Concordat, come to welcome you into the greater community of spacefaring civilizations. Please prepare your leadership for first contact protocols. Sarah noted the subtle condescension in their choice of words. The message was clearly designed for a species they considered primitive. Perfect. Send our prepared response, she ordered. Make sure to include those deliberate fluctuations in the carrier wave. Let them think we're still struggling with basic subspace communications. As the carefully crafted message was transmitted, Sarah activated her neural link to the quantum defense network. Hidden throughout the solar system, humanity's true fleet waited in dimensional pocket space, ships that could traverse galaxies in moments, weapons that could reshape reality itself, and defensive systems that made their displayed capabilities look like children's toys in comparison. Admiral Rodriguez interrupted her thoughts. The alien fleet is deploying observation drones. They're scanning our visible infrastructure. Let them look, Sarah replied. Everything they can see has been specifically designed for their benefit. How are the quantum masks holding on Luna Base? Perfect, Mom. As far as their scans can tell, it's just a primitive mining operation. They have no idea about the dimensional physics labs or the consciousness transfer facilities. The largest alien vessel was now moving into high Earth orbit, probably preparing for their first official contact. Sarah wondered what they would think if they knew the truth, that humanity had mastered consciousness transfer decades ago, that their bodies were largely synthetic, that their children were born with neural interfaces that connected them to the quantum information network that spanned their solar system. Message from the Security Council. Admiral Rodriguez reported. They're ready to begin Phase 1 of the contact protocols. Sarah nodded, watching the alien ships maneuver with what they probably thought was impressive precision. Let them think they held the technological advantage. Let them believe they were dealing with a species that needed their guidance and protection. "Time to put on our best show," she said. "Alert all stations. Begin the performance." Across Earth, carefully orchestrated activities began. Primitive fusion plants released visible energy signatures, while the real zero-point reactors remained hidden. Space stations armed with outdated weapon systems ran obvious defensive drills, while quantum-phase torpedoes slept quietly in their dimensional pockets. Fleets of chemical rockets made showy maneuvers while true ships watched from folded space. "They're sending a diplomatic shuttle," Rodriguez announced. "Traditional first contact protocols." Sarah straightened her uniform, deliberately designed to look like something from humanity's early space age. "Well then, let's go greet our guests. And remember everyone, we're just simple humans, barely out of our cradle, eager to learn from our more advanced cousins." "Good," Sarah nodded. "They're starting to worry. How's our young friend Vexna?" "Still digging. She started analyzing our historical records more closely, particularly our early space age. She's noticed the inconsistencies we planted." Sarah smiled. The Concordat's own paranoia would do most of their work for them. The more they looked, the more questions they'd find, but never quite enough evidence to confirm their growing suspicions. "Admiral," a quantum alert flashed through their neural network. "The Concordat Council is convening an emergency session. Topic: potential technological contamination of Earth. They think someone else got here first." Chen realized that some other advanced civilization has been secretly uplifting us. "Let them think that for now." Sarah's eyes held ancient wisdom. Sometimes the best way to hide the truth is to let others convince themselves of a more believable lie. In her private laboratory aboard the Crystal Mandate, Vexna reviewed her sensor logs again. The human's performance today had been perfect, too perfect. Every mistake precisely calculated, every failure exactly what you'd expect from a developing civilization. She was beginning to understand. The question wasn't whether the humans were hiding something, but how much they were hiding, and why they were choosing to reveal it now, piece by carefully measured piece. The game continued, its true stakes still hidden behind layers of deception and carefully orchestrated revelations. But the endgame was approaching, and soon the Concordat would learn why humanity had chosen to play this particular game in this particular way. The emergency session of the Concordat Council had lasted 3 full rotations. Vexna stood before the assembled high emissaries, her research displayed in quantum holograms around them. "The evidence is undeniable," she concluded. "The humans' technological progression is artificial. Someone has been uplifting them in secret, violating all Concordat protocols." High Emissary Zextal's crystalline form pulsed with anger. But who? Which civilization would dare? The alert came without warning. Throughout the solar system, Concordat sensors detected massive quantum disturbances. Space itself seemed to fold open like blooming flowers, and ships appeared. Not the primitive vessels humanity had shown them, but sleek predators of impossible geometries, their hulls rippling with technologies that made the Concordat's finest ships look like children's toys. "Impossible," Zextal whispered. Admiral Hayes' hologram materialized in the council chamber, her smile holding centuries of secrets. "No, High Emissary, not impossible. Simply hidden." Around them, more ships emerged from dimensional pocket space. Hundreds, then thousands, an armada that had existed alongside the Concordat fleet this entire time, invisible and waiting. You deceived us." Zextal's voice carried both fury and fear. "We protected ourselves," Sarah corrected. "Humanity learned long ago that appearing weak when you are strong provides the greatest advantage. We watched your Concordat expand, claiming to guide developing civilizations while subtly ensuring they remain dependent on your technology, your protocols, your control." Vexna's sensors were overwhelmed trying to analyze the human ships. "These energy signatures, they're beyond anything in our database." "How long have you?" "Since before you entered our solar system," Sarah replied. "We detected your scout ships decades ago. We saw how you treated other civilizations who displayed their true capabilities too early, so we decided to play a different game." The human ships had taken position around every Concordat vessel, their movements displaying a mastery of space-time manipulation that shouldn't have been possible. "Your primitive fusion reactors," Vexna realized. "They were never your true power source." "Zero-point energy," Sarah confirmed. "The fusion plants were theater, like everything else we showed you. Our bodies aren't purely organic. Our computers don't use simple quantum states. The technology you thought you were going to graciously share with us, we mastered it generations ago." Zextal's form had lost all luminescence. "Why reveal yourselves now?" "Because you finally sent someone clever enough to ask the right questions." Sarah nodded toward Vexna. "Someone who understood that appearances can be deceiving. And because it's time for the Concordat to understand that not every young civilization needs your guidance." Through her neural interface, Sarah received confirmation that quantum field generators had been activated throughout the solar system. The Concordat's fleet couldn't escape even if they tried. "What are your demands?" Zextal asked, his pride finally broken. "Just one." Sarah's hologram stepped forward. "Recognize Earth as an independent, advanced civilization, free from Concordat oversight or control. In return, we'll share some of our actual technology, starting with our quantum masking systems. Perhaps the Concordat can learn there's more honor in helping civilizations achieve true independence than in making them dependent." The council chamber fell silent. The game was over. Humanity had revealed its true nature not through threats or displays of force, but through a masterful strategy of patience and deception. "There's an old human game called chess," Sarah continued. "It teaches that victory often comes not from the pieces you move, but from making your opponent believe they know what pieces you have. Remember that lesson." Later, as the Concordat fleet prepared to depart, Vexna approached Admiral Hayes in person. "The inconsistencies in your historical records," she said. "You planted them deliberately, didn't you? Breadcrumbs for someone to follow." Sarah smiled. "We'd found that the best way to reveal truth is to let others discover it themselves. You saw what others missed, Vexna. That's why you're here, and they're leaving." Above them, humanity's true fleet remained visible, a reminder that appearances could be deceiving, and that sometimes the most advanced civilization wasn't the one making the grandest display. "Welcome," Sarah said, "to the real Earth." In the years that followed, the story would be told throughout the galaxy, how humanity had outplayed the mighty Concordat, not through superior firepower, but through strategy and patience. It served as a reminder that true advancement wasn't measured by the technology you displayed, but by the wisdom with which you used it. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, other young civilizations were watching, learning, and beginning to question whether they too should keep their true capabilities hidden behind careful masks of innocence and simplicity.